If you're a gamer, this video is just for you. It's about the Dell G7 7500. This is an update video. I'm not a gamer. I do not game. The only thing I do is perhaps play Fortnite, and that's it. It's only aimed at Fortnite, and that's the only game I play. For anything else, I strongly recommend you guys do your research on it. Using this laptop for gaming, I think it's really good. Especially if you were debating whether you want to get the HD version or the 4K version. I'll tell you that the 4K version is the better option for all of you guys. The only thing you need to know about this laptop is that you need to maintain everything up to date. If you do, you will not have any problems with thermals, you will not have any problems with frame drops, and you will not have any problems with your resolution. Based on that, I tell you that this laptop, after 8 months, I will still recommend for you guys. So like I said, I'm not a gamer, but when I do game, I use a controller. I cannot get used to the keyboard. I'm sorry about that. If you guys are PC users, you know how you feel. I know how you guys feel about that, and me using this is perhaps like, a no-no in this kind of situations. But I'm sorry, this is what I use. If you buy the Bluetooth version, you will not need a dongle. But since this one doesn't have Bluetooth, it does require the dongle. So just getting that out of the way. Anyhow, just putting that aside. Last week, Nvidia released driver 461.72. That's the latest Nvidia driver for this laptop. Now, this laptop right here has the RTX 2070 with Max-Q. Updating the driver to this version has brought in a lot of cool features to it. And that is the ability for you to play at a higher frame rate with DLSS. I've been able to game up to close to 300 frames per second on a 4K monitor. Let me remind you that this screen here has a 60 Hz refresh rate. I have no clue how that works as far as getting 300 frames per second. In Fortnite, I was able to reach those kind of frame rates. If you want to play in 4K with all the bells and whistles, you're only going to end up between 60 to 70 frames per second, which is still pretty good. These are the settings that I have that works for me when I'm playing in 2K. Playing in 2K in Fortnite is perhaps the best way to play. It gives you the right amount of resolution that you want. It's still extremely sharp. You can see the shadows, you can see the details, you can see far away, everything in epic view. If you want to have a better fighting sequence and be able to fight better, I recommend you set your screen to 1080. If you set your screen to 1080, you'll get the highest frame rates there is possible. Just set your frame rates to unlimited, and then the computer will do everything for you. The thermals on this computer are very reasonable. It's very reasonable for gaming. It does get a little loud. If you're going to have your computer directly sit on the desk like this, you're not going to be able to play at the fastest frame rate there is available to you. To prop the back like this, put a little box, whatever it may be, on the back side of it, and play with some space between there, maybe 2 fingers worth. You will have no problems with the thermals, and you will have no problems with the frame drops. Launch your game through the Alienware Command Center. You'll see that the Alienware software will actually control the thermals really good. If you bypass that and just go around it and play it directly, it does get a little hotter than usual. When you go through this, it does play better. So I do highly recommend you go directly through the Alienware Command Center for you to actually game. And that's it. And then the other aspect to that is the fact that you want to have your BIOS up to date. I believe the newest BIOS right now is 1.6. Let me check on that. The newest BIOS right now available is, let me check. Hold on. So I just check right now, you need to have BIOS 1.6. If you do have BIOS 1.6, you'll have no issues because every single BIOS that has been released ever since August, and I believe that ever since then, there's been at least 3 or 4 BIOS upgrades. And every time I got the new BIOS upgrade, it has done better with the thermals. So upgrade your BIOS frequently as soon as they come out. You guys have had the most questions about the thermals. What's the frame rate that you can game at, the resolution you can game at. And like I said, for me to tell you my experience with Fortnite, that I can do. And this is what I'm trying to share with you guys today. The fact that you can do higher frame rates now with this laptop, which is better than the HD version. The HD version will give you those higher frame rates out of the box. That is 100% true. But you'll never have 4K. This screen is 4K and it's absolutely beautiful. It is extremely bright. It has one of the most beautiful colors, especially if you color calibrated. And it already comes almost pre-calibrated to the point where it needs to be. So you kind of don't need to worry about that unless you're doing some creative work, Premiere, photos and whatnot. But if not, it's just fine the way it is. If you guys think that you're still having issues with this, upgrade your RAM. Upgrading your RAM will give you more stability. It will allow you to play your games a lot easier as well. So I know that some games do require a lot of RAM. Others don't. Others use the CPU. Others are more intense on the GPU. Others are more intense on the hard drive. So it all depends. But if you have everything up to par, you'll have no issues whatsoever. This laptop comes with 16 gigs. Upgraded to 32. It already comes with a very nice 1 TB drive from Hynix. If the computer can breathe and it's not sucking up just hot air at the bottom, you will not have any issues. Prop the back. That's the only thing I can tell you guys for any laptop. It's not just this laptop, any laptop. Give it some cool air. It will perform flawlessly every single time. It's not about the laptop having problems. It's the fact that it has a small chassis. It's very thin. And therefore, you got to expect for this thing to act like the way it does. And the fact that it's so close to the actual desk, well, the desk will get hot eventually. And when it does, it will just start releasing hot air regardless of how much cool air there is around there. So think about that every time you're playing. Every so often, I'll drop in and do something different, like in this case, the computer. And that's because I really love computers. There's two things I like the most: computers and cameras. If you want to be up to par, I welcome you to this channel. So with that said, I hope you do stick around. And if not, come back whenever you see something pop up. All right. See you guys. Take care.